Hi guys, this is Carol here, and tonight we are imaging the fireworks galaxy. I can't live stream because my internet is acting up, but I'm going to record this and then later upload it to Facebook. So you can see the live image of the galaxy right there. It's pretty faint, but it should be visible. And the stacked image here, this stack of 4 frames already. I'm live stacking the image with short exposures, and I think this should bring a nice view to us. I guess so. Some raw images, just slightly stretched and stacked. Sorry, stack of 5 images, and you should be able to see the spiral arms of the galaxy soon. The core of the galaxy is already visible. Just zoom out a bit, that's it, okay. Let me just so that's the view from the fire capture. You should be able to see you should be able to actually see this galaxy very faintly, but it's there. And when you move to the sharp cap is much better view. You can actually, the deep sky stalker, you can actually start to see the spiral arms of this galaxy, and it's pretty much live image. The freshest image from the camera taken a few seconds ago looks like this. It's going to update like every 10 seconds. There is a new image. You can see the changing noise pattern. And the stacked image of 13 exposures look like this. I'm gonna just set the black point a bit darker. Oh, that should be enough. You can see the spiral arms of the galaxy. And that's a live image seen through the telescope and the camera. I'll try to show you the telescope with the camera, but I'm not sure if it's sensitive enough. Let me just rotate the PC. Turn on some lights. No, it's not there. It should be. There it is. You can probably see the telescope in the field of view. Just gonna make that a bit bigger. So like that. You should be able to see my face and the telescope in there. Once I get this bigger, it's not working for some reason. Maybe this way. Oh, it should be enough. Oh, so let's make this bigger. And that's the mirror of my telescope. I'm gonna take a left side. You can see the mount of the telescope right there, and the telescope itself right here. Let me just take it up, and let's get more markers on it. So you can actually see the focuser right there, and shining the light on it. There's a camera inside the focuser. There's another guiding telescope above it. But that's just about it for the setup. Go back. That's me again. I'm gonna try to resize that for a smaller image. And in the background you can see the galaxy actually stacking. You can already see the spiral arms of the galaxy. I'm going to increase the contrast a bit. So I'm gonna try to do that. And that should be cutting it. And let's check out the latest image taken by the cameras we have here. That's a bit less stretching. Alright, so that's the latest image we caught. And that's the stacked image we got so far. I can see some strange bending here, but it probably won't there in the we won't be there in the final stack, so I'm not gonna bother myself with that. There's just 4 minutes of data, but we can already see the spiral galaxy there. It's pretty much a live image. I'm gonna try to actually get color in the image. Something's not working. Alright, that should be good enough. So let's go to image graphs. Let's take a look at graphs. Sky background. So we can see that it's pretty consistent, meaning that it's still dark yet. It's not getting, the sun isn't rising yet. It's quite dark. Let's check offset. Let's see how our mouse performs. The offset is constant, but here we got a huge drop. So that's pretty bad. I guess there's some trailing, which is motion of mouse, but the rest is cool. So this can just move it a bit. star registration. We can see a drop here, but we're going to ignore this because that's when I took the dark frames. The rest of the time you can see that there's roughly consistent amount of stars, so that means that the signal to noise ratio is pretty consistent and that there aren't any clouds or something like that going in. So the spread out is pretty consistent. That's the graph that shows us the conditions of seeing. So the blur that atmosphere gives on the image is pretty consistent, and it's around 5 pixels, so it's not that bad. But I've seen better graphs in my life, like it should be around 3 pixels if you are at mountains or somewhere like that, and at places like Manuaca or the Chile Atacama Desert in Chile, they get down to like 2 pixels or even 1 pixel of the spread out of the star image. But they're using much better equipment, adaptive optics, and they have just much better conditions. Well, I'm imaging in the middle of the city, but I guess that's just good enough. So let's just switch back to the image. The score is pretty consistent, but it's nothing interests us. So I got 6 minutes of data, and that's quite a good view already, I think. Just stretch a bit. Yeah, that's showing the galaxy right there. You can see it on your screens too, I guess. Just zoom in a bit and decrease this slider a bit to the right. Contrast, more contrast. Oh, that's it. That's cool. So you can see this galaxy and a ton of stars in front of it. And that's just about it. So we are going to capture more images. That's 45 frames stacked, while the camera obtained like 46 frames. So everything is going correctly. Previously I've gathered about 80 frames of this galaxy. So that's total us with like 120 already. And I'm aiming for like 200 of total frames. 200 frames each 10 seconds. So that's 2000 seconds, about 30 minutes of data. 30 minutes of data should be enough to actually show the galaxy very well, and I'm going to later debayer these images to show the color of galaxy, because currently we are stuck in an undebayered mode, so we can't see the color. But later on I shall be able to actually get the color out of this. So that's the live image from telescope. You can barely see the galaxy, but that's the magic of stacking. You can already see the object quite well, just after stacking 50 frames. So from this noisy image where you can't see anything, in just 7 minutes we get this. It's pretty cool. It's actually getting us better images. And we are just using 10-second exposures, so that's pretty short. Especially since normally in astrophotography you lose like 30 seconds at least, and even more. Like when photographing with a DSLR camera I use like 90 seconds, that's just short exposure for a planetary nebula. But for deep sky objects I use like 5 minutes of exposure, 10 minutes of exposure or something like that. And I use auto guiding, while here we are running without any auto guiding and on simple 10-second exposures. It's pretty short, but allows to get tons of images stacked in short periods of times. And what I found is that in astrophotography the amount of images matters more than the time of single image exposure, because single images have that fact that they have tons of noise in them. So even if you take a single image that is 20 minutes long exposure, the readout noise of the sensor is going to be insane, and you are not going to see anything cool. So it's going to look like that. Even though, I don't know, you can take 10 minutes exposure and you will still have that much of noise in the background. Just that the background will be a bit brighter, but the noise will still remain here. While stacking actually removes the noise from the background and get us a clearer image, so even shorter exposures can be used. This is just 10 seconds, that is about, usually with a DSLR I take 5 minutes exposure, that's 10 seconds, so it's like, I think 50 times shorter exposure. Yeah, about that. 10-minute exposure is 600 seconds, that's 10 seconds, so about 60 times as long exposure, shorter exposure than the DSLR images, and yet the view is quite impressive already. While I'm at it, let's take a look at this. Everything's correct. The images on the fire capture look clean, so is everything is correct. The focus looks alright. Let's see what we got there. Grass. Filter width. Yeah, it's still consistent. Nothing specific is going on. You can see some drops on the left side. Was like a bit down. That's because I've had some hot air. I had to actually heat up the mirror because it was freezing and getting a lot of dew on it. So I used a hairdryer, but it dropped the sink a bit. Never mind. Sky background. Oh, I can see that probably the sun is starting to rise because you can see it's quite getting. It was at about 5%, now it's at 6%, and then it goes to about 7 and so on. So I think the sun might be rising. So that's something to watch out for because the rising sun can actually blow up the images. So you gotta get it done before the sun rises. So let's go back to the stacked image, and that's the view we are getting, and the single image. So the noise reduction is huge, and that's 70 stacked frames. I've got 70 in, so that's about 150 frames, 140 exactly. That should total about 100 and 200 frames quickly, so we're on a good way. I can see that the mount is shifting a bit to the right. Let's see how it looks at here. Yeah, it's shifted a bit, but everything's fine, I guess. It's pretty okay still. You can leave it running like that for like 10 minutes or more, so it's cool. The image is being taken with a 15cm f5 Newtonian reflector and a color CCD camera. The color camera isn't actually capturing color data right now. It's called undebayered imaging mode, so we are not getting color, but we will get it when I process the photographs and undebayer it. Anyway, so that's a simple camera, about 200 bucks. A 6-inch Newtonian. That's a pretty simple construction. That's just using two mirrors, a parabolic mirror and a flat angled 45-degree angled mirror. It's nothing complex, simple technology. And I optioned 725p mount. It's quite an advanced mount. It costs like $1,000 or something, but man, the quality is just awesome. So a big shout out to iOption that they made a cool mount just working perfectly. I found this mount to work really well, as you can see, both for short exposures like this one and for longer exposures with DSLR. I'm guiding the mount with an 80mm Skywatcher refractor, but it's currently not used. I've got a total of 3 telescopes in there. This 6-inch Newtonian, this 80mm refractor, and a 30mm finder refractor used for finding the objects and for star alignment. I guess it's getting in the morning because it's 3:30 a.m. and the birds are starting to hum. So I guess I'm not sure if you can hear this, but the birds are humming already. So I guess it's getting quite morning. The sky is still dark, so it's nothing that disturbs us. It's pretty cool. Okay, 12 minutes of exposure, 87 frames gathered. So everything is running just fine, I guess. So you're just going to wait for more frames. I'm thinking 200 frames may be a bit too little, actually. I guess I'm going to stick with that object till the morning. So till the morning, that will be about, it's 3:30 now, so we got like half an hour left. We are getting 6 exposures per minute. We got 30 minutes, so it's 6 times 30, 180 more exposures. We got a total of 160 already. So we can get up to like 200 or 300 exposures. That should be, I guess 300 should be already enough. If not, I've got another night coming up. It should be clear up tomorrow, so if there are no clouds, I can keep imaging this object and get like 500 frames. That's what I intended. Actually, the previous object that I didn't live stream or record was Crescent Nebula in constellation of Cygnus. I've gathered about 600 exposures, but because I've used shorter exposures. I've used 6-second exposures, 600 exposures each. That's 6 seconds times 600. That's 3,600. That's, I think, 6 seconds, 600 exposures. That's equivalent of an hour of exposures, I think. And just in an hour, I was able to see the nebula pretty well. But I'm planning to make a 2-panel mosaic because the nebula is too big to fit in the field of view of my camera. This camera has a freaking narrow field of view. It's just one 3-inch sensor, so it's pretty small. But it's working fairly well, so I guess that's it. Anyway, I caught Crescent Nebula It's also nebula is red, full of hydrogen and some oxygen. I've removed the infrared cut filter from the camera, so it's catching the hydrogen alpha line pretty well. Hydrogen alpha shines a red light, but removing the infrared filter actually adds more of this light. So we are capturing the hydrogen alpha regions of our galaxy, and it was pretty neat. Again, like I said, I'm planning for a 2-panel mosaic because this camera can't fit the whole nebula in one shot, but again, with 2 panels I should be done with like 4 hours of exposure total, and it should be a very nice image because Crescent Nebula is just beautiful. When you look at photographs taken by professionals, it's just awesome, and I guess my image is gonna be equally good. So I guess that's it. I'm planning to place my telescope at an observatory, so I'm going to build it, I guess. Because setting up the telescope each time is just painful, you know, carrying out 50 kilograms of equipment and all the gear and connecting all the cabling and getting up the software is just terrible, and I'm planning to set it all aside in an observatory so that I can remotely control it from wherever I am, and I don't have to take all the time to actually set it up all and everything. Alright, so we're imaging, but I can see a tiny problem right there. The galaxy is moving to the side, so we are going to have to compensate for that by using the mount's movement motion. So I'm going to slip it to the right because the galaxy is running off to the left. So that should be enough. Okay. I'm not sure if you can see, but just rotate the camera. Alright. So here you should be able to see the mount controller. There's a hand controller used for tracking, selecting, and moving the mount. You can select objects that you want the mount to point for here, so that's just a cool piece of gear. It's added for free with the eye option mount. It's necessary to actually do anything because it steers the whole computer in the mount, and you know this mount is really high tech, so it has tons of computer stuff in it. So it allows for tracking, a go-to function that is automatic pointing telescope at your object that you select. I'm not sure if you can see, but it says NGC 6946 right there. Is the name of this object we are photographing, the fireworks galaxy. And the mount is pretty precise, so even with such narrow field of view, it can precisely aim at the objects. So it's just a clicking of button and it's constantly aiming at the object, so it's perfect. Just precision. Right, so it's a little bit to the left still, so I gotta move it a bit to the right more. And I can see that the sky is starting to get a bit blue. We should be able to note that on our diagrams too, so let me just check the diagrams we got about the sky background. Okay, a bit more to the right, a bit more to the top. Alright, so this should be pointed fairly well. Let me just check the latest image, last image. You can see some star trailing because I moved the mount, but in a few seconds we are going to get a new image. Should be hopefully without star trailing. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. It's a clear image. Okay, and the galaxy at the center of image. So let's check the stacked image. Yeah, that's pretty good, I think. You can start to see a lot of cool star stuff around the galaxy. Just, yeah, maybe a bit more contrast. Let's just go crazy with the contrast to see the spiral arms of the galaxy more. Not that much. But in this version, no. A bit less, come on. Alright, so in this version of image you should be able to see quite nicely the spiral arms of the galaxy going out to the bottom and to the right. I think this galaxy is spinning counterclockwise, I think, from our perspective, because the arms are trailing to the right. If they are going outwards to the right, then I guess it's spinning. No, wait, it's spinning clockwise actually. So we can determine the spin of the galaxy based on the arms, because the arms are subject to centrifugal force. And that's what we are seeing here exactly. So we're seeing the centrifugal force in a galaxy that is millions of light years away. And you can define the direction it spins in. That's the raw image. You can barely see the galaxy here, but it's there. And on the stacked image it's pretty clear. It's just nice. Okay, back to the graphs. Yep, we are definitely getting a sun rays there. It's just getting brighter and brighter. Offset, yeah, I've moved the mouse so it's visible. You can see it's visible on that axis, but not on that axis so much, so I just moved it a bit upwards, but mostly to the right. So let's try a lot of stars. Oh, it's falling down. You can see there's a small trend to fall downwards a bit. That's probably because it's getting brighter and brighter, or maybe the telescope is getting a bit of dew on it, but there's nothing that is just going to bother us. Filter width at maximum. It's pretty consistent. I think it even has a bit of tendency to drop, probably because I don't know. I should just focus better. It should be actually getting out of focus. Maybe. Oh, I think the weight of camera is actually pulling it a bit downwards, and that's just focusing it better because the camera was a bit out of focus, and now it's getting inwards, so it's getting into focus, and that should be close enough, I guess. This tendency to drop. It was at 5.5 pixel at worst, and then it dropped to the 5 pixels, and now it's constantly around 5 pixels. So that's pretty cool. It's not that bad at all, I guess. Angle. This angle actually shows us the imprecision of the mount polar alignment. It's caused mostly by the fact that we have imprecise polar alignment, which causes field rotation. We can see it's very, very tiny. You can see it's 0 pixels. At worst, it's got to 0.3 degree, but this caused mostly by camera rotating. Well, actually, you can see it's about. I think the median is about minus 0.02 degree per frame, so it's really tiny and there's nothing noticeable in the images. But we are getting some field rotation because of imprecise polar alignment. I guess when the sun starts to rise, I'm going to just fine-tune the polar alignment because I have nothing more to do. So yeah, when it gets kind of bright so that I can't image anymore, I will just focus on that. Overall score is dropping, I think. Yeah, it has a tendency to drop, probably because of rising sun and dew, but this is normal, right? It should be getting worse and worse unless I correct it. It's called entropy. It's a pretty normal thing. I think the data is looking pretty clean. You can see all the object here. So that's a live view of the galaxy we've captured on the live stream for past 21 minutes. 21 minutes and we get this. So that's pretty cool. And the latest image gathered from the camera is this. When we zoom in a bit, you can actually see the noise from the camera changing. Just wait a few seconds. There it is, and you can see the noise changing with each frame. So what stacking does, it is averaging out the noise. Basically, it takes average of each pixel. So like you take 3 photographs. In the first photo it has pixel value of 0, in the second photo it has pixel value of 5, and in the third photo it has pixel value of 10. So using a median stacking, it will actually select the 5 for the brightness of the pixel. Doing it for each of the pixels with like 200 exposures, that actually brings us a clear view because it's decreasing the amount of random noise. Because noise is random, and averaging a random set of numbers leads us closer to the true number. Suppose the true brightness of pixel we want to find is the number 3, and the actual numbers read out by camera are 3, 4, and 2, let's say. So 2, 3, 4, and the median of this actually is 3, so this matches. Now for larger set of numbers, this actually might not represent the true number, but when you get like 200 exposures, that's 200 pixel values, so we are going to get really close because the noise is random and we are averaging it out. So it's like kind of like measurement noise. So measurement uncertainty because of noise. When you average out many measurements, you actually get the closer to the result. And that's what we are doing here. We are averaging them out into something like this. So you can see it's a really clean image. When we actually decrease the brightness of it to something normal, it's pretty much noiseless. But when we do the same to this image, look, it has some noise in it, while this one doesn't. Actually, let's try to stretch this image a bit, so brighten it up to this point. Maybe a bit more, actually. Yep. So, that's it. Oh, okay. Now let's try to apply the same filter to this image. Guess that's close enough. actually a bit more to the right. Let's try to move it a bit to the right. There you go. That should be close enough. No, a bit to the left here. Alright, so this is the single image, and this is the stacked image with the same filtering. So you can see the stacked image is tons of times clear, and that's just 25 minutes of exposure. So in 25 minutes, we've managed to quite nicely photograph a galaxy. And now I'm going to read off some data about this galaxy. So, Fireworks Galaxy, the catalog numbers are Cadwell 12 or NGC 6946 or PGC 65001 or UGC 11597. So it's a 9.6 magnitude galaxy. It's pretty much the surface brightness is about 14.5 magnitude per arc second squared. So it's much fainter than the nucleus because the magnitude is given per nucleus, but surface magnitude is about 15, so it's much harder to photograph. But anyway, let's take a look. This galaxy has apparent diameter of about 11 arc minutes, and it's filling the most of field of view of our camera. The distance to this galaxy is 22,508 million light years away. So that's pretty fucking far away. Anyway, currently this galaxy is 51 degrees above horizon where I am, and it lies on the border of constellations of Cygnus, Cepheus, and the Dragon. Looks like it's just between those three constellations. It's closer to the Cepheus. It's pretty close to a bright star called Cabalfirt. The star is a magnitude 3.4, and that's what I used for the mount synchronization. Another interesting object right next to this galaxy is a ghost bush cluster, NGC 6939. That's an open cluster of stars. So that's just some facts about this galaxy and its surroundings. And that's the image, and latest image we've gathered. Image list. Let's see how much of them we got here. That's quite a lot of images, as you can see. I'm gonna just check one thing in settings. Oh, don't stack these 5 frames. No, I don't need it. Warnings. Actually, this could be useful for detecting clouds, because it will warn me when there are clouds. I think I'm going to select it later on. Filter width 5 pixels. So no, I'm not gonna change it. Angle. This could detect if the camera is rotating. So these are just cool stuff to actually find out if the imaging is correct or if something is going wrongly. Let's check the view here. I'm gonna check the view in fire capture to see what we got there. So here's the fire capture, here's the fire capture. No, I don't want this. I want this and this. Alright, so here's the view in fire capture. Well, I want this. It's running now. So the view in fire capture is looking like this. Fire capture is an application for actually running the cameras. It's a software used to steer them. It's quite useful, and I found it really good. Well, sometimes it crashes, but I think it's pretty good, and it just works for what I want. It was designed as a planetary imaging software, but I'm using it for deep sky imaging, live imaging, but as you can see, it's just working, so there's nothing I need to change about it if it's working. So let's just switch that off. And let me just try to show you the stellarium view of this area if I can. I think I can't. Sources, game capture, stellarium, there it is. Alright, stellarium view of this area. So we're going to compare the actual photograph we've gathered of this galaxy with a view in stellarium. So that's the stellarium. Now I'm gonna go into stellarium. I'm gonna just move over to this galaxy. It should be somewhere here. Let me just zoom out a bit. Alright. So that's how stellarium presents this galaxy. As you can see, that's the view from stellarium, and now the view from my camera. You can compare the two. The rotation of my camera is quite different. I think mine is upside down related to stellarium, but you can see it's the same object. It looks the same. You can see the extended vertical nucleus of the galaxy. And that's actually a hint that it collided with another galaxy because the nucleus is stretched. Normally, nucleus is actually a elliptoid, so it's a sphere of stars, but here it's a bit stretched vertically, so that means that it had to collide with another galaxy. And another actually argument for that is that this galaxy is very active in star birth regions. It has many hydrogen regions and generally is the name Fireworks Galaxy actually comes from the fact that it produces the most supernova in all of galaxies we ever observed. I think this galaxy produced 12 supernovas in the last 10 years. In fact, one supernova in this galaxy was visible like 3 months ago. The name Fireworks just comes from the fact that it is literally full of fireworking galaxies. And it has many star birth regions, rich of hydrogen, and it's just a cool object to photograph. Okay, so that's the stacked image, and I'm gonna to just take a look at the raw image. So that's a single image, everything is working correctly. Let's just stretch it a bit more because we've got our 200 exposures, yay. There's a planned 200. Add the 70 I've gathered earlier, and this should be good enough. There's 270 exposures totally stacked, and the sky is still pretty dark, I can see, so it's just good enough for imaging. I guess we can keep imaging more. It's a pretty cool target. I'm gonna just check. Yeah, everything is going correctly. 204 exposures. So meanwhile, I'm going to try to stack the images I've gathered of the Crescent Nebula. So let's try to actually give you the view of the whole thing. Sources. I think. No, I gotta use this. Deep Sky Stalker, and I'm gonna use a source. So I gotta use sources, game capture. I can't see the so I'm going to just try screen capture and just select the whole screen on it. Knock. Is this working or isn't it? That's clean area now. Take it off. Take it off, asshole. I don't want to see this. Take it off. Okay. This to the back. So here's the camera view, Lenovo Easy Camera. Here's the Deep Sky Stalker view. I'm gonna put that into most of the screen, but I can't get the normal Deep Sky Stalker working, so let's just try to, I don't know, sources, screen capture, game capture, devices, no devices, fire capture, Stellarium, ASCII, web page, media file, stream, widgets. No, I don't want widgets. I want to, maybe screen capture should be working. Is it? Yeah, that's actually, oh, that should be good enough, I guess. Is it showing my screen? Yeah, I think it is. Okay, let's close Stellarium. Yeah, you should be able to see my own screen. Not sure if it's the whole screen or just part of it, so let's try stacking the data I've gathered. We're going to start by using pip. That's an application for pre-processing the images, and we are using that's to debug the images. So, okay, let's start by finding our datasets. So it's here, DSO folder. Now I've got to find the folder where I captured the Crescent Nebula. So let's try that. See if this is the correct folder. We're going to open one file. Yep, I think that's it. Let me just try more files. So let's open something from the middle of the imaging section. I think there's a region of Crescent Nebula, but I can't be certain. I would have to check it better. Let's just try different images with a flashlight here to actually illuminate my face a bit more. I'm gonna use a chair because I don't like processing part, not sitting. I'm gonna take a seat. Okay, so I'm sitting. It's pretty wet, but I can see on that, I guess. Let's try to find the actual object we're imaging. So take it a bit off to the side, dim the screen a bit. Alright, so let's search for the correct folder. Nope, there's some overexposed chunk. Let's try a different file. 160. Nope. just before the midnight images. I think that was Danab or something like that. No. Yep, I think that's Danab or something. So let's try here, maybe. Oh, that's a crescent image. I think it should be enough. I can't see the crescent, so let's just cram this data into Deep Sky Stalker and pip and see what they return. So bit file, select all of this, move it to pip. Like, alright, 262 exposures. Input options. I'm not sure if you can see the whole thing. Can you see the whole thing? You can see from this point to this point, so I guess you can see all the center of the screen. I'm gonna do that and see. Yep, you should be seeing pip now, so let's try to actually debuy raw images, debuy Moroccan frames. BGGR is the pixel pattern for my camera. Nothing here. Maybe just try to see if there is Crescent Nebula here or not. So 5 times. I'm not sure if that's Crescent Nebula or not. This could be the Crescent Nebula, as far as I know. So let's just lower it back to 1. Quality options, nothing here. Output as TIFF files. And let's take that. Meanwhile, while it's processing, we can just turn off the desktop region and let's try to get ourselves a working view on this galaxy we are photographing. So Deep Sky Stalker Live. There's our galaxy. 235 exposures total and a single image. Oh, I gotta move the mount a bit to the right side because the galaxy is shifting on the images, so moving the mount right now. I think a bit upwards. Let's see what we can get here. If I correctly move it. Whoa, there's a lot of trailing. I don't like trailing. Get it off. Fix it. And I gotta move it a bit up, I think. Oh, that's correct, I think. So a bit down then. Gotta just wait a minute for this to correctly go. Yeah, I think the wheel should be there. So let's go back to our files. Let me just turn on the desktop view, and alright, so here are the files from the pip. They are nothing specific, but we can see some stars, and now we're going to start that in Deep Sky Stalker. So copy, move to the instance of DSS. There's our DSS. Put it into as light frames, register images, register already registered images in case there are some registered from the live stocking. Now we gotta wait for it to actually register all the images. It's going to take a while because it's actually trying to determine the stars in the image using an algorithm. So we're going to wait like 10 or 15 minutes, I think. Especially since my CPU is already running hot because I'm running so many applications right now. I'm running DSS, DSS Live, and Broadcaster and camera software and pip at once. So I'm going to close pip list to lower the load on my CPU. I think the sky is already getting dark blue, but it's working. Now I got a message here that I can't start because the CPU usage is too high and it just can't work, so I gotta cancel it. So no stocking here, I guess. Maybe let's try stretching it. Yep, I think we caught the Crescent Nebula here. It's just barely visible red arc here between those stars, but it's not visible. But in stacked images, it should be clear. We've got to close this and get back to imaging our galaxy. So it's a night spent with a single galaxy mostly. Fire capture, no. I want the ASCII view from fire capture. And I got the Deep Sky Stalker and the stacked image view. So yeah, that's our stacked image, and I'm going to brighten it up a bit more actually. It's almost free of noise. That's 250 exposures now, 70 exposures earlier. That's totaling about 320 exposures total. That's pretty good, I think. Enough for stocking. And that's a clear view of the galaxy, I guess. Once stacked, it will be much better because we'll have also color data, but color is not visible here. And I'm also going to take light frames. I'll probably also image Venus or Messier 1 when it's visible. I can see the highest cluster here in the sky, so I guess Messier 1 should be visible soon. And it's a cool target. It's called Crab Nebula. It's a tiny supernova remnant. It's not tiny actually. It's pretty big. It's a supernova remnant from a supernova that exploded like in 1054 year of our age, so 1,000 years ago, a little less, I think 900 and so years ago. So it's a pretty recent supernova in our galaxy, and left a cool remnant from the supernova and nebula. And I guess I'm going to photograph that because it's just fitting my camera field of view very nicely, and it's a cool nebula. It's very colorful and beautiful, and it's just going to work for my setup pretty nicely. I've got the perfect telescope for this kind of stuff, and the perfect camera for it, and the live imaging like this one is cool. Yep, so you can see that the score is definitely dropping down like this. It was about, I think, 430 points, but it's down to 300 points right now. Filter width is still, so we're sure that the focusing is still. Nothing is changing here, so the score isn't affected by that. Amount of stars is going really down. Wait, it stopped going down, it went up and then down. I guess that's just some local haze in the air. It's not the dew, but dew would constantly drop it downwards, but this has down tendency to get up and then down, so I guess it's some minor clouds or something. Offset angling, you can see the motion of mount here, so there's nothing specific. Angle, no, nothing. Oh, a bit downwards about angle, but nothing to worry about. Sky background. It's not getting that brighter yet. It's pretty cool. So I guess that's fine for imaging. Score, nothing but score. Our galaxy view, and the last image of galaxy. I'm gonna just to take a view at the live imaging. This is the freshest images taken a few seconds ago. A total of 40 minutes of data. I've got an initial 70 exposures, so that's a total of an hour of exposure, so about. An hour of exposure should be good enough to actually render a good view of this galaxy. You can see that even quickly stacked on by 40 minutes are giving a cool view, and I'm just going to Photoshop out these dark areas and so on. I'm going to fix this image a bit, and it's all cool. I think we can catch one more image tonight, one more object. If I find a bright planetary nebula anywhere around, that should be good enough for imaging. So let's find fireworks galaxy, fireworks, yep, there's fireworks. I think we can either try to image this cluster near the fireworks galaxy, so Ghost Bush cluster that I mentioned earlier, or, well, there are no planetary nebula around, so we're going to stick with Ghost Bash cluster in case we get some additional time for imaging. Meanwhile, I'm going to keep imaging this galaxy until we get really good results, and I think I'm going home for a few minutes because I'm really cold enough, but I'm going to just keep recording so you can see the view of the galaxy getting better and better. Well, I'm going to heat up my hands a bit. It's 300 frames total already, so it's good enough. So see you later in like 15 minutes, and I'll be back. It's pretty cold there. Anyway, I need my Wi-Fi router somewhere here. I think I've lost it. Where's my router? Oh, I think I stepped on it. No. So here's the lens cap. You can see it right there, but I can't see the Wi-Fi image. The device for Wi-Fi. Yeah, no. Here's the eyepiece. Hair dryer. I guess I left Wi-Fi home. Or maybe I have it in my pockets, but I can't find it. So see you in like 15 minutes. Bye. Alright, so I'm currently back, and this is the end of imaging session. Because it's getting quite bright here. I'm just going to record myself actually putting the telescope into parked position, and that's it for today because it's getting bright and it's sunrise, and we've gathered a total of 500 exposures. That's more than I planned. 500 times 10. It's about an hour of exposures, so it's quite good in my opinion. We could keep imaging, but the background should be getting brighter and brighter with each minute, so I'm actually gonna check it with image file list. No, um, graphs. I want sky background. Yep, you can see it's starting to get up, and we'll just keep rising as the sun rises. So we'll just park the telescope, or maybe M1. I'm not sure if I can catch it from here. No, it's behind the trees yet, so I can't catch M1, but I'm just gonna. That's it for today, I guess. Just check. So here's the deep sky stalker view, stacked image, last image. Oh, there's a satellite going in there. Take a look on the left. We just caught a bright satellite right now passing in front of the Fireworks Galaxy. That was pretty awesome. You could see it on the left side. Um, yes, just that means that sun is rising already because satellites are just visible in the morning and in the evening. I mean, they are visible just before the sunrise and just before the sunset usually, because that's when sun illuminates them. So I guess that was a pretty bright satellite. I'm just gonna check on Stellarium if we can see which one was it. Actually, knock. Just skip this few seconds back. No, Stellarium isn't showing anything in this area. And maybe I'm just using the wrong position, so I'm gonna try Poznan. That's my city. Actually, a bigger city around me. Yep, that was completely wrong position. So let's try again. No, nothing is detected here, but you could see in the live image. So as the light was visible. Now, in about 20 minutes, it should be already possible to take any photographs of galaxies because it's going to be already completely too bright to see anything like that. I guess that's our data for tonight. About 530 exposures and about an hour and 30 of data, I think. That's hour and 10. We got 70 frames, that's 10 minutes. An hour and 20. Well, maybe I'll just keep it nicely rounded and get an hour and 30. Maybe no. I'll just leave it running for a minute and move the mount a bit to the left. To the right, sorry. To the right. Smooth a bit up. Alright. Let's check the latest image we've got. You can see the mount motion here. And take a look. More motion of mount, and it should be nicely done here. Come on. Yeah, come on. Whoa, something's wrong. It's moving to the left. That shouldn't be happening. And I'll just move to the right. See what happens now. Now it keeps moving. Possibly the power on the mouse died, but the hand control is working, so something is not okay. What's going on? Come on. Next exposure. Click it. Yeah, it's cool. Alright, so it's working. The mount sometimes starts to act too early because it's sitting too long in the cold. It's really cold outside. It's I think like 5 Celsius. The camera is running at 8 Celsius, and the camera has been heated recently by me using a hair dryer. So I'm just trying to keep things warm, but it's just getting colder and colder. It's freaking cold. The winter is coming. I can see the Pleiades, the Hyades, and I think, yeah, I can see the belt of Orion. So maybe I can see Orion Nebula too, with naked eye. It should be over the house, but we just move a bit. Yep, I can see the Orion Nebula. So Orion Nebula is visible from here, but telescope won't see it because it's behind the trees and house. but still it's pretty cool. Let's check stacked image if everything is correct. Yep, it's good. It's all red. Okay, maybe just move it back point here. Alright. That's clear data. No noise. That's what I like. The final image with the stacking and the debayering should be just plain awesome. Over 500 exposures, very short exposures, done in live stacking mode, so you could see the live view, and done in short exposure imaging, so you could actually see the galaxy as it looks now, and not just as it looked an hour ago. It's just 1 frame per 10 seconds. 10 seconds because 9-second exposure and 1 second to download the image. So 1 frame per 10 second, and just a live view of a galaxy that is light years away. Just an awesome stuff. Alright, so I'm going to show my equipment that I'm using and park the mount in a second. Let's just get maybe an hour and 50. Okay, I'm just gonna stop recording right now. So stop file. I'll try to copy the current picture to clipboard and open in Photoshop later. See if we can pull out anything from live stack. Cancel. I'm gonna stop imaging fire capture right now. I'm not sure if you can see me here. For some reason the camera isn't showing me. Probably it's too dark. I'm just gonna use my flashlight and see. Yeah, there I am. Okay. So this is me, and I'm gonna show you my gear right now, but I gotta disconnect the camera first. So fire capture, stop imaging, stopped, closed. Alright, so let me just pull this camera into full screen mode. A little bigger, come on. I'm gonna use my laptop's camera for actually showing you the equipment. Let me just disconnect the camera. Camera disconnected. So I can now put the laptop a bit away and show you the whole gear. Just move it to the side. Alright. A bit more light, please. It's pretty dark. Oh, that should be it. Alright, so you can see the back of the telescope. The mirror right there, but the camera isn't catching it quite well. It's a 6-inch 15cm Newtonian with focal ratio of 5, so focal length of 750 millimeters. Just pick up the. Oh shit! My adapter fell down. Never mind. So we just on top of it, right there, you can see a 80mm guiding refractor. It's an f5 refractor using for auto guiding. Just gonna switch for more light, and you can see my camera here. Maybe. Yep. So you can see my camera and the focuser here. It's a 1.1 by 3 inch sensor, a color sensor. It's a AC120 camera, a color camera, running by USB 2.0. Now let's go to the mount. So the mount, you can see the back of the mount here is I-option 725p. I'm gonna go to the side of it. Just let me detach the power cable. Power cord detached. Okay, so I got a free camera right now. Okay, you can see me. And you should be able to see the telescope in a second. There it is. Okay, let's go. So this is the side view of the telescope and the mount. The I-option 725p, an excellent mount for astrophotography, and it just has cool features and excellent quality. It's a very good mount. That's 10 kilograms of counterweights right there. I'm just gonna lower the whole thing. Yep, 10 kilograms of counterweights used to balance like 8 kilograms, no more, 6 kilos, 2 kilos, a kilogram, half kilogram for adapters, and a half kilogram for cameras. So about 10 kilos of gear and 10 kilos of counterweights used to balance all the gear. This is standard to 1.5 inch tripod. It's holding the gear quite nicely. I can even try to kick it, but it won't move a lot, so it's pretty precise. Down there you've got a polar alignment scope. Yeah, down here. And I'm just gonna give you a look down the telescope itself. So that's the view into the telescope. I'm just gonna put it here and get it more light. So you can see the primary mirror at the bottom, the secondary mirror at the top, and on the side you can see the focuser of the camera and all the gear. And here's the focuser of the camera. I'm just gonna move it. Oh, there is focuser in the camera. So that's what I use for focusing. By moving not enough light, you can't see it properly. By moving this, I can actually move the camera back and forth to focus it towards the focal plane of the whole thing. So here's the 725p pilot, and that's just it, I guess. That's all the gear I use for live astrophotography. Down here you can see the telescope cover I use. Just some blue stuff I use for covering the telescope during daytime, so I don't have to actually pack the telescope back into the house and disassemble the whole thing. I can leave it assembled and then just take this off and start imaging all the time. It doesn't take much time for me to set up the cameras and so on. I just take like 10 minutes and I can take photographs already. Just 10 minutes, and I don't even have to start setting up early. I can start I don't know, I can go outside 15 minutes before it gets dark, and 5 minutes later I'm actually setting up the telescope, and I'm just taking images 15 minutes after I go out. So no time wasted on setting up. Another thing worth noticing is the finder telescope. I'm just gonna show you this. This little telescope right there in the white bracket. Not sure if you can see the light. Just this little thing here. I'm just trying to shine it. This is the thing I use for finding the objects. So here's the view of the whole telescope, I guess. And that's it for today. So goodbye, and hopefully see you tomorrow, guys.